Hello everybody and welcome to another movie classroom. For every movie has a lesson. My name is Don Shanahan and I'm an educator. I write these movie reviews with life lessons in mind because in my opinion, as the title suggests, every movie can teach a lesson. Today's newest movie classroom, I should say, is Happy Christmas, the latest from Mumblecore director Joe Swanberg from right here in Chicago. Stay tuned for more on this movie. For those of you who have not heard the name, I hope you can pick up a guy by the name of Joe Swanberg. He's the director of the movie from last summer, which was a good video-on-demand hit, Drinking Buddies, and his newest film is another kind of micro-budget indie film, and it's called Happy Christmas. The premise of this film, because chances are a lot of you have not heard of this film, is a big brother is married with children in Chicago, or married with one kid, I should say. He's kind of a struggling filmmaker while his wife is a former author. Swanberg kind of calls his own number to play the lead of this film. Melanie Linsky, longtime independent actress, is his wife, and kind of the megastar that kind of makes people kind of come to this movie is Anna Kendrick. Anna Kendrick kind of plays the younger sister who just broke up with her boyfriend, and is kind of crawling on her hands and knees for some help to come move in with Big Brother because she has no place else to go. She's coming from a different city to Chicago, and she's kind of a bit of a drunken mess. She's kind of the irresponsible type, the one that still parties, the one that still, kind of smokes a lot, drinks a lot, kind of does that sort of thing. A very anti-Anna Kendrick kind of character, which is a fun thing to see her play. Joe Swanberg kind of comes from the school of thought where this is it's very heavy on improvisation. This movie has a script, but a lot of times this goes in a lot of unscripted directions. He'll kind of give his actors kind of story goals and kind of lets them kind of improv and kind of ad-lib where this goes and the scenes they do, with the idea that by the end of the day we get to this point in terms of connecting the dots in the story. So what you get is, much like Drinking Buddies last year, is something that's very conversational, very kind of very raw, very kind of watching kind of life unfold in front of you. Nothing very kind of nothing particularly like set as in terms of strict set pieces. This doesn't feel like a very 3-act story arc. It feels like a series of little events that happen within a week or so around the holidays, and it's an interesting style. It's something that's definitely becoming more and more popular, kind of on the indie scene. I thought Drinking Buddies last summer was a neat little kind of will they or won't they romantic kind of comedy angle that went towards where the rest of it went, but still kind of had a dramatic edge where these are young 20-somethings and 30-somethings who are trying to figure their life out as much as they are trying to figure out love. This film here is kind of this mix of what happens when the irresponsible meets the responsible, and how lives kind of got changed around because you kind of have to handle where Anna Kendrick's character is going. Her character is not overly eccentric. It's not like we're watching Jennifer Lawrence from Silver Linings Playbook, so it's not that, well, I'll say it like this, it's really not that good. The movie is interesting and has its thoughts it wants to make, but it kind of meanders to any kind of point. There's not quite a denouement, there's not quite a finish. I felt like Drinking Buddies had something to kind of root for last summer with the couple that was going on, possibility between Olivia Wilde and Jake Johnson in a good film. If you find Drinking Buddies on demand or even on Netflix, I highly recommend it. It's a good little watch. This movie's less than Drinking Buddies. Last year I gave Drinking Buddies a 2. I should say a 3 out of 5. This, for Happy Christmas, I can't give it a big endorsement. It's a 2 out of 5 for me. The ability for Joe Swanberg to make these micro-budgeted films is definitely there. He is a talent. The guy can write and make very approachable, good films. He definitely has a realism all his own that this movement it kind of prides itself on. The improvisational style is something I could tip my hat about, but it's not overly interesting. It reminds me a lot of another kind of improv film from last summer, Prince Avalanche with Paul Rudd, where it kind of meanders. It goes some places, but it never really goes anywhere in particular. It kind of just wanders. You get kind of a side character in here with Lena Dunham from Girls, who kind of plays a little bit of a spark as a best friend, but again, kind of doesn't serve much of the story. Even though I'm in Chicago and I like the tips of the hat that they have here for being a Chicago-setted movie, I can't put a super duper recommend on this if you find it in limited release. This is something that could wait for Netflix and kind of for fans only. I would rather I'd rather recommend Drinking Buddies to you. Let's get to the lessons. All right, lesson review or not, there are still lessons we can talk about here. So lesson number 1 is when a youthful, let me see if I can fit youthful on this line. If I can't, it's going to the next. There we go. When a youthful influence, now that is a mess that gets erased. Yay, one take and go. When a youthful influence inspires an adult. The good thing about Anna Kendrick's character coming home is she kind of perks up a stale, kind of married, bogged down by kids household. She kind of sparks Big Brother to have a little fun, to cut loose, to, maybe tip back a beer or two that he wouldn't normally. The bigger impression that she makes is on his wife, Melanie Lynskey's character. Melanie Lynskey would really love to go back to writing and not quite be such a stay-at-home mom. Anna Kendrick kind of in her aloof, irresponsible single person's form of, well, why not? She kind of gets in the wife's character's ear about getting back into writing and kind of steers her to try something different with her writing. Mostly kind of a tawdry romance novel, because that's what young 20-somethings like her care about, which is sex. But the idea is that there's an influence and an inspiration there. It's kind of nice. I think us adults that get mature and old forget those old vices and kind of those old fun things we used to have, and we get into a monotonous life. So a little spark like Kendrick's character isn't all that bad. However, you're going to get to lesson 2 and see pretty much the opposite. And that is, let's just kind of keep it broad and say the effects of irresponsibility. For as much as it's nice to have a little bit of inspiration and youthful energy around, it's an irresponsible one in terms of her character. She doesn't do the greatest job cleaning up after herself, contributing around the house, helping out with the kid. Funny thing, the kid in the movie is played by the director's own son, which is kind of fun to see. She's not the best in terms of, not coming home drunk and screwing things up around the house, screwing things up about her life. She is, she's at the age where she's parties too hard and doesn't know her limits. It just doesn't work out that well. She doesn't have a lot of foresight and common sense. So as much as there's the energy and a effervescentness to being youthful, you're going to get a dose of irresponsibility as well. To put a bow on it, especially in a movie that's called Happy Christmas, Lesson 3 kind of sums up what you can take away and accept about the two sides of Lesson 1 and Lesson 2, and that is you will always... Let me catch up here. You will always love and tolerate your family. Like it or not, and let me kind of finish up where I missed at the end there. Like it or not, Anna Kendrick's character is our main character, or at least our husband's sister here. So you're gonna, we take the good with the bad with our family. I think we all kind of maybe have one of those people in our family who's the young one who never grew up, the irresponsible one who doesn't get married or doesn't have kids, or the one who kind of still thinks they're 20 when they're coming up on 30, the one that's kind of always kind of the screw up, the one that always has to borrow money or time or things and just doesn't hold down things of their own, can't keep a job, can't keep a relationship. I think we all have one of those people, whether they're old or young, in our families. But at the end of the day, you still always love them and you still always tolerate them. The movie does take place at Christmas, where it's still that no matter what Anna Kendrick screws up, people still remember that lesson 1 part where, hey, she's her, let her be her, and she's still part of us. And I think that's kind of the lesson you can get out of this movie is no matter how bad she screws up, she still has family. She still has a place she can kind of turn and go. That's kind of where the summary goes with Happy Christmas. 2 out of 5. I can't give it the highest endorsement in the world. I don't think it's as good as what Swanberg has done in the past. He's talented enough of a filmmaker where I know he's going to come back and deliver something good. He just kind of has to get wrestled around the idea of the right story and kind of put it to a place where you can kind of elevate it to. This movie just quite doesn't have the heft that his other stuff does. So see it if you can. It's still kind of a nice little effort, but it can wait. All right, folks, to finish this out, once again, my website is Every Movie Has a Lesson ShowMe.com. That's where you can find my full written review of Happy Christmas and all the other movies that we've done so far here. We got a recent review for Magic in the Moonlight in the next Show Me video movie classroom that I'm going to do right here. It's going to be for the movie Boyhood, and I'll do what I can to keep it as close as I can to 10 minutes, but we'll see what I can do. Once again, folks, have a good night.